take some time, Tracy, you're not in the middle. There we go. Oh, right there. Yep, right there. Freeze.
Well, thank you. All good?
Oh.
All good, thanks.
Kim's messing it up.
Sorry.
All right,
I
we
don't-
are playing some stuff.
Okay.
Thanks for sharing.
Things
Kathy.
are going.
Just trying to.
We just gotta be here to copyright.
That's right.
All right, we have intro playing.
So it's like a real rocket song for your intro.
It is, except you can't hear it.
It's the magic of television.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Connect Show. Today is going to be a great day. We have two great guests with us today. And right after the show, we are having the picnic right here at Expansive. It's so exciting.
That's going to be fun.
John has cooked us some smoked butt, and we're going to go outside and play Jenga and bags and enjoy the day.
If you're in the Wauwatosa area, join us. But most importantly, happy birthday, Tracy.
Oh.
We got lots of studio noise. Happy birthday. I'm not going to sing. I'm not going to kill our viewers. But to those of you that don't know me, I'm Kim Nuck. I'm really happy to be a part of the show today. I'm co-hosting, and John is working on production behind the scenes. You can usually find me doing a marketing moment, networking report, or connecting with all of you behind the scenes. So thank you for having me today on the show.
I'm so glad to have you. And as always, we're very happy that you come to watch the Connect Show. And if you think of a topic that you think we should be discussing, please email us at theideas@theconnectshow.com.
The Connect Show is brought to you by Connect Media Live. We help businesses create bold and interesting marketing material to help you grow your business.
We also like to thank our sponsor, Expansive Workspace, where we are at right now, where we broadcast from the Connect Show. Expansive is a wonderful place to co-work and a great community to be part of, and they have great picnics. Have we said we're having a picnic today?
That's number 2.
But Mitch, who do we have on the show today?
Thanks, Tracy. Kim, great to see you as well. So for everybody who doesn't know, Tracy and Kim are that way to me. So hi, camera. And I just want to say, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. All right, that's enough. I will sing and embarrass myself, but I won't go the whole way. Normally, when I sing happy birthday, it ends up with like skip around the room. So, Tracy, we're going to make you skip around the room later. Okay? Yep, that's part of it. Well, today on the Connect Show, very excited. Bill Frey, the money guy, is here. And one of Bill Frey's specialties is finding financing when it's tough to find financing. We all know that, well, first of all, we've transitioned into August now, and so we're talking about money. And far too often, and I'm sure Bill can attest to this, people are afraid to talk about money. People are hesitant to talk about money. And I think it's okay to talk about money. And so that's why I'm really excited for not just today, but for the whole month. I'm excited that Bill's here and that we're going to be talking about money because it's hard to talk about sometimes. It's hard to ask people for money. It's hard to admit what our financial situation is. But sometimes it's healthy to do that. And if we do it in a healthy way, if we have a mindset that is open-minded about that, I think it's really important. So Bill Frey, the money guy, is here. He's the senior partner with Bellwether Funding. If you've been rejected by banks, he's your guy. If you've been rejected by financial institutions, he's your guy. And awesome fact about Bill, he is the coordinator or one of the coordinators for the annual winter coat drive at the Milwaukee Rescue Mission. So not only can he talk about money, but he can talk about giving back to the community, which is really, really important. So excited to hear it from Bill and what his financial advice is going to be for us as well. Also scheduled to appear. Can I say scheduled to appear? But we're efforting. Efforting is a word. we're efforting Patricia Lane. She's a corporate finance attorney with Foley and Lardner. And so she's going to talk to us about financial agreements and how to get some free legal help on the financial side as well. And I always, when somebody goes to the University of Chicago, I always say that they're a maroon because that's their nickname. So Patricia's also a maroon as well. Bill's a Panther, by the way. Are you a Panther? Were they the Panthers? Yeah. I know you're a Lubar School guy. So, and we love our Lubar School here in Milwaukee. So Bill Frey is here. Patricia, we are efforting, and back to the birthday girl. Happy birthday, Tracy.
Thanks, Mitch. You always do such a great job. You have so much great energy.
Love it. Love it. I think we just have to say happy birthday in between every little segment. I think
Every
it's fair.
time.
I think it's fair. We're going to make her feel like a little kid all over again.
I already was a little kid already.
I love it.
Today.
And the Connect Show, if you didn't know, is broadcast live on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and we can see your comments. And if you comment, John, who is producing today, can throw your comments right up on the screen. We can answer them as you send them in. And I hope you guys load Bill with tons of questions today or comments. Let's go.
And the Connect Show is a volunteer show, and we always ask for volunteers to be part of the development team. So if you like the show and would like to get involved, please email us at info@theconnectshow.com. And I have to say it again, come out to the picnic today and meet the whole gang.
I brought Giant Jenga. That was the hit last time.
I'm looking forward to playing that.
So let's get this conversation started. Tracy, did you get legal or financial coach to help you when you started your business?
No.
That was a really easy answer.
No, but I mean, I think I knew the majority of what you needed to do. You had to go get an EIN, you had to get an LLC. That part you kind of just surfed through the internet a little bit until you found it out. And then you end up realizing that you need to have a bank account and you need to do this and you need to do that. So I just kind of like fell through it. So I'm sure I've missed some things. I'm sure I've missed them. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But for the most part, I just searched my way through it. And because you could have missed them, I think that everybody should try to get that information or know somebody who will help you not miss them.
Yeah.
How about you?
I didn't get specific legal advice. I did a lot of what you did. I surfed the internet. I found, what I could find just here and there. But I found a lot of my information, probably not the best lawyers on the face of the earth, but networking. So during the pandemic, I did a ton of Zoom networking events, a ton of Zoom, mostly through Small Business Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. And we've really built so many masterminds and different groups, and people that have been in their own business for so many years gave me ideas and opportunities on how I was going to start opportunities knocking. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's how a lot of people do it. Mitch, is that how you did it also?
Yeah. And here, I'll wait till I'm up. But when I started my LLC, I had that. We all have that friend. I had that friend who's not a lawyer, but he's started businesses in the past, so he knew enough to be dangerous. So he knew, so he got me all the forms for, like you said, the EIN number and the LLC and all that sort of stuff. But more so on the financial side, I'm a couple years in, and I'm still a little lost. I'm still at this place where I would love to. I don't have a full handle. And I kind of don't know what I don't know. And I think that's the concern for a lot of small business owners is that we start our business, we open the bank account, hopefully we have a couple checks coming in or something like that, but we're not exactly sure. All right, so what finances go here and what expenses go here and what goes in this bucket and what goes in this bucket and how do we manage it all? And do we have an Excel spreadsheet or do we have, do we have QuickBooks or do we have whatever it is? And it's can be overwhelming, especially if we've never been, I took accounting as an undergrad. I can read a profit and loss sheet, but I'd never had to do it for myself before. I'd had to do it for places I'd worked before, managing budgets and stuff, but I'd never set up my own where it's really like, what's my monthly cell phone bill? What's my internet at home? What are work from home expenses that I can write off or that are part of my business expenses? And so again, I go back to that. It's okay to have open conversations about money. And we need to start having these. We need to start embracing that it's okay to talk about money. And I think we come from a culture where, whether it's our parents or our grandparents, people didn't talk about money for decades in this country. And I think it's okay that we start talking about money and start talking about what we don't know so that we can learn more and more.
Especially with the parents and grandparents not speaking about money. It's always been a secret what you have, and then you don't know, unfortunately, when certain times come, you don't know what you're getting into.
Yeah,
when
you
it
have no
comes
idea.
to those, you don't know anything because they didn't talk about it. Especially people that went through the Depression or whatever else, hiding money in mattresses or books, and you gotta open every single thing at anyone's house just to know a little bit about money.
And the part about all of the financial stuff, especially when it comes to your taxes and the stuff you can write off, boy, I did that. And I had a previous business to this business where I was self-employed, so I kind of had a decent idea on all the different things, but it changes for it's not the same for every business. And so you have to relearn it specifically for your business, what you can write off and what you can't write off. There's so many fine lines for that.
Tracy, everybody really wants to know if you're just going to take a spoon and just start scooping that cake for your birthday. Just start eating that on camera.
Yeah, just like this.
Yeah, there you go.
No, I'm not going to do that, Mitch. I'm not going to do
She
that.
also has some gelato she could spoon into. It's a little frosty, but maybe it'll be melted by the end of the show. I see some peanut butter swirls in there, which, yeah.
Nice.
Today's quote of the day: a leader is best when people barely know he exists. When his work is done, his aim fulfilled, they will say, we did it ourselves. Lao Tzu. I tried.
Oh,
John said I have to get it right, and I tried so hard. Lao Tzu.
that's hard to say.
That
I'm
was a
not
hard
even
one.
going to attempt it.
That's a great quote.
So, John, do we have any comments in the chat over there? No comments. About any money stuff, financial stuff? No comments. All right.
See, they're afraid to talk about it, I think, a little bit.
Nobody wants to talk about money. I mean, maybe it's just too early in the morning. So before we bring on our first guest today, we're going to turn it over to Rajiv for a reputation minute.
Today we'll be talking
All right,
about
Mr. Money Guy.
what would you like to be known for? What does this mean, and what does this have to do with your reputation? It's very important for you to stop and think as to what you'd like people that you meet, your customers, your friends, your clients, your partners, your collaborators, as to what they're thinking of you, because what they're thinking of you is going to influence your future interactions with them, but it also will influence what they're saying about you when they're speaking to other people. It's very important for you to be conscious and cognizant about this. You can't go by just what people say at face value. You should ask them in a candid, friendly way what they think about you on an ongoing basis, because if you encourage feedback, they will give it to you and it will allow you to course correct, even if you've had a misstep now and again. Course correcting is something that creates a lot of value in people's minds. It tells people that you accept feedback, you can change, you can course correct, and you're always looking for self-improvement. This is something that is extremely invaluable when it comes to your personal brand and your personal reputation. People really like to work with people that are good to work with, easy to work with, are easy to speak to, and can take good feedback. Well, that was your Reputation Minute. Back to you, John and Tracy.
All right. With 10 years of commercial loan experience in underwriting, presentation, closing, and renewal of loan portfolios while working at 3 local banks, 14 years of commercial loan brokerage experience for funding real estate, business equipment, and working capital needs for business owners and investors. Projects include startups, purchases, buyouts, refinance, and rescue of distressed loans from default, foreclosure, tax liens, and liquidation. Also manage a rehab loan fund with private investors for local rehab clients.
Loan sizes range from $50,000 to $120,000 for rehab lending and $150,000 to $10 million for conventional loans. SBA loans range from $250 million to $5 million. This is a lot of numbers. Working capital loans range from $20,000 to $500,000. Bill holds a BBA degree in marketing and finance from the Lubar. Is it Lubar?
Lumar.
School of Business at UW Milwaukee and has taken postgraduate classes in loan underwriting, portfolio management, finance, credit evaluation, and credit repair.
Wowza. Welcome,
Wow.
Bill.
Thank you very much.
We're so
It's
happy to
What an
have you.
intro.
Thank you.
So going back to what Tracy and I were speaking with each other, did you get any financial or legal advice when starting out for your small business
When we
journey?
started the small
Yeah.
business, we got a little advice from some friends, mostly people that had businesses already, and a few attorney friends that I knew. They gave us a little bit of guidance and direction, but there was no real in-depth direction on what to do and how to do it, so a lot of it was just kind of learned as we went along.
I think that's how most
I think that's how
small
most people end
businesses
up
really
doing it.
seem to go
Yep.
for it, and then they find the legal advice later, hopefully when it's not too late, right?
You know,
Right.
where there's a need, somebody should come up with the solution. Like, if we're all doing that, why is there not a place that people automatically go to start your business?
Well, the problem is it kind of falls between the cracks. I mean, you've got attorneys that will do so much, you have accountants that'll do so much, and then you have the bankers that'll do so much. So what you're really asking for is somebody to pull a little bit from each one. Now, there are consultants out there that will help with businesses as far as how to help them perform better, help them when they're struggling, give them direction on how to grow or how to prepare themselves for sale. But they're not necessarily working with the startup business as far as how to structure things up front to make it more feasible and more advantageous for them as a business owner.
Sounds great. I mean, yeah, I know that there are some coaches out there that, you know, that do that, but it's definitely not.
Like, there isn't a one size package fits all type of thing anywhere.
Not that's
And I
readily
don't think-
available
Right.
or known out
yeah.
greatly to the public.
Right, right.
Well, and that's the thing, is every business is different. I mean, I look at hundreds of businesses every year, and even in the same industry, you have different businesses that have a different feel, that have a different structure, that have different philosophies. They all do things a little bit differently, and that's really what makes this industry so unique, is that there are so many different business owners, and they all have their own agenda and philosophy and goals. So it makes for a much different structure going from one business to another, even in the same industry.
That's super interesting. So, speaking of a similar industry, why do people in commercial hire you for a commercial loan?
The reason they hire me is that when they go to a bank is very heavily regulated. So there's limits to what a bank can tell you about how to get your loan. So they look at your loan package and they compare it to their guidelines and say this either fits or it doesn't. So it's kind of like it fits the box or not. There's a lot of things that could be changed to make you bankable, where if the bank would sit down with you and say, okay, Kim, if you just did this, we could get you a loan. But the problem is, because the bank's regulated, they don't have the ability to do that. So what happens is you have a borrower that's told no, but they don't understand why exactly. So it could be a simple change like changing their accounting method, changing the structure of ownership, changing the collateral for the loan, maybe adding a guarantor, changing the loan request into a different type of loan. Some things that are fairly simple that could be changed. The bank doesn't have the latitude to do that because of the regulatory direction that they have from the state and from the federal government. So they are restricted in what they're able to do. They do a great job for people that have an easy loan that's fairly simple and straightforward. A lot of banks are taking care of people every day. But the problem is, life happens to people just as in business. And so when life happens and somebody, say, loses a family member or goes through a divorce or files for bankruptcy, I mean, these are all things that the bank looks at as risk. And the bank that exceeds the risk factors that a bank can look at. And so in a lot of cases, the bank is going to say no. Whereas other lenders that I work with are able to mitigate that by adjusting the rate or adjusting the terms to make it more viable. And they're able to work with people that have maybe gone through a divorce, maybe had a tax lien, maybe had a couple losing years, maybe had vacancy in their property, maybe lost a big client. I mean, any number of things that can happen to a business through the course of time. We have lenders that can adapt and allow for funding that can meet that need. Now, because of the risk, they're going to price a little higher than what a bank would, but at least they're giving them an opportunity to keep their business going and have that opportunity to correct those things and get back on track to where they can walk into a bank in another year or two and say, okay, Tracy, I'm ready to get a loan now. What do I need to do?
Look what I just did.
Correct, correct.
It's not always so black and white. There's always a gray area at some
Exactly.
So what makes you stand out from other loan hunters? And is that the right name, loan hunters? Like head hunters?
We're loan brokers. I'm kind of a self-employed loan officer. What makes me different is because I was a banker to start with, so I'm actually a recovering banker, everyone.
I love it.
So I've been 14 years sober. But basically,
From banking.
from banking, sober from banking. So with having that background, I have a good understanding of how banks underwrite credit, what things they look for, how they evaluate the credit, what things are acceptable and not acceptable. And that's really important right now because with what's happening in the industry after COVID, there's a lot of service industries and hospitality industries that have been very heavily impacted by COVID and the losses that they had had. So with that happening, a lot of banks have looked at them and said, gee, you got a great business here, Kim, but this doesn't meet our guidelines anymore, or we already have loans of this type that are in default, so we can't look at any new credits of this type. So what happens is a lot of these borrowers go from bank to bank to bank, only to find out that all the banks have similar guidelines on what they're not willing to look at right now. And that's really where we come in, because we do have over 80 lenders we can go to. We have lenders that have that ability to meet that need and provide a solution for them that allows them to refinance and continue their business.
Excellent. Should we, thinking about it that way, should we work on our business credit? Is there a such thing as business credit?
Yes and no. You do have Dun & Bradstreet that monitors credit within your business as far as timeliness for paying vendors. And there are some businesses that applies to. But for the most part, most lenders are going to look at your personal credit. And that's one of the criteria they use to screen who are clients that they want to work with and whether they qualify for a loan or not. So they'll set a minimum credit score and say, okay, if you're a 680 or below, you don't meet our guidelines. Or they might also say, hey, if you've had a bankruptcy in the past or a foreclosure in the past, that's also a non-starter for them. So knowing that ahead of time, I have a clear picture on which banks or which lenders I can take a loan to and have success with getting them funded, and which banks just are not going to have interest in that type of credit.
So really, the business portion isn't as critical as your personal portion.
The two are kind of equally weighed because the lender's going to look at the performance of your business as far as profitability, cash flow, ownership interest, length of time in business, and in general operations, okay? But then they're also going to look at your personal history. So a lot more banks are checking CCAP. They're looking at the borrower's history. They're looking at if they've had any struggles in the past, like a bankruptcy or a foreclosure, things like that. And depending on the bank, they may use that as a means of screening which borrowers they want to work with and which they don't.
Which is great for the businesses that are wanting to be able to work with the other businesses, that they can look at their business and their personal stuff, but not so great for you if you've had a bad history.
Well, like I said, life happens to businesses as well as people. So you have businesses that experience issues, whether it be a downturn, whether it be a loss or a vacancy or tax liens or what have you. I mean, there are things that happen to business owners all the time that are outside their control. And the idea is they deserve an opportunity to move on, and they deserve an opportunity to get a new loan. Now, understandably, it's a little harder to get a loan for them, and that's really where I come in, is being able to assess that risk and being able to find a lender that has an appetite for that type of credit.
That's great, because people go through life and they could have had like a bad couple of years and a bad, whatever was going on in their life, and then they turned everything around, and 10 years later they're doing far much better, and they don't want to be penalized for that
Correct.
thing that happened a couple years in their life. So that's great.
Right.
That's available.
And that's what that's a lot of what I do, is looking at not what's happened to you, but what have you done since that happened to you. So especially with somebody that may have had a bankruptcy or a foreclosure, there may have been an event that occurred in their life at that time. Maybe a family member had cancer, or maybe they had a loss of a child or a loved one, or some other event that happened, some traumatic issue that affected them personally and put them in a situation where, hey, bankruptcy was their only choice, or foreclosure was their only option. That doesn't make them a bad person. That just means they had a hardship they had to work through, and now they're getting past it. But what's more important is, what have you done since that occurred? As far as rebuilding credit, rebuilding your business, rebuilding family relationships, rebuilding your financial stability. And that's really what we have to look at, is how do we measure how those people have improved since that event occurred?
That's great to know.
I think so too.
Makes you feel like you don't feel so doomed by something that happened 10 years ago.
Because life happens to
Yeah.
everyone, right?
Yeah.
It does.
It's not a perfect picture for everyone in this world, and it's good to know you can come out of the dark hole at some point if
Correct.
something bad
Yeah.
does happen.
And I
So-
think with what happened with COVID, we had a lot of small businesses that experienced difficulties, and there were a lot of small businesses that were not doing as well when COVID hit, and a lot of those businesses are the ones that failed.
Yeah.
And so part of the problem is the bank looks at all the credits they have in their file. And if they're in a particular industry and they have a number of borrowers that have gone into default or gone into foreclosure, if you're a new borrower walking in the door in that industry, it's going to be very hard to get a new loan, because the bank is kind of tainted by that industry that they struggled with and that they've had losses with. So really, you as a borrower don't know that walking in the door. You don't know what their screening criteria are for a loan. You don't know what their sweet spot or what their appetite is for loans. And you don't know who may be on their prohibited list. So you as a borrower, I hate to say you're walking in blind, but in a way you are, because you don't understand what the bank's looking at, what credit is something they would consider, and how they're evaluating that.
It's interesting. You wonder why they kind of keep those guidelines a secret, because you want to be able to meet the goals, but it's not out there like, hey, this is guaranteed, this is what we're looking for, and you might not even meet that little bit of minimum. So it's great to have someone like you that can do that. We already kind of answered. I mean, you definitely work with credit challenged borrowers as well, not just conventional, correct?
Correct.
So
I think one of the biggest things, back to our original question about the things you don't know that you don't know when you're starting a business, one of the things that I didn't know that I learned later was that it's very difficult to refinance your house as a business owner.
Correct.
It is very difficult.
Correct. And there again, it comes down to guidelines. So lenders have their guidelines on how they look at your income and how it's reported, and they're also going to look at your performance within your business. And so it really comes down to finding the right lender that has the appetite for self-employed individuals or sole proprietors that are looking to refinance their home. So it's really the same principle with looking at commercial lending. It's all the ability to evaluate and document the fact that you're making enough money to afford the debt that you're looking for.
So when you're saying you're working with 80 different lenders, if somebody went to their original place that they have their house through right now and they decline them because they're writing off so many things that they're not meeting the requirements, if they were to go to you, would you be able to go to your 80 different vendors and see if you are able to help them where they were not able to do it earlier?
Well, I don't do any owner-occupied real estate as far as residential, because that requires a special license in Wisconsin. I do work with non-owner occupied and investment properties, but to answer your question, The 80 lenders that I represent are anything from conventional to SBA to USDA to bridge lenders to hard money lenders, working capital lenders, asset-based lenders, merchant advance lenders. I mean, there's a whole variety. And actually what people don't realize is there is a whole network of lenders out there that will fund anything. Literally, you can fund fine art collections, coin collections, classic vehicles, aircraft, boats, oil wells, quarries, you name it. There is a lender out for literally anything. If you know where to look and you have the time to research, you can find a lender that will fund almost any type of asset you can imagine.
That's insane.
Yeah, that just opened up a whole new world for me right there.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
So, I think that's just about all the questions that I have. Do you have anything else that you want to offer our guests today? Any other piece of advice or anything about your business or any events or anything you have coming up?
I would have to say that one of the best things for people to do when they're running their business is create a partnership with an attorney and with an accountant. Those are two key people that you should talk to on a regular basis about your business, looking at what decisions you're making and how. And then I would also look for advice from other business people. Now, the SBA has a program called SCORE, which is Corps of Retired Executives. And they do a very good job of helping small businesses with either growing, getting started, getting financing. There's a number of other community organizations that offer programs like the Wisconsin Women's Business Initiative, Metropolitan, or was it MEDC is another group. There's also a group, WBDC in Waukesha. All of them are economic development companies. They're government agencies, they're nonprofits. They basically help small businesses with getting funding. Again, they do similar things to what I do. They have people in-house that underwrite the loans and actually place them with government funds. The difference there is they are a government agency. They work for the government agency they represent. So they do a nice job. They are limited on what they can do, just like a bank would be. So they do have criteria and guidelines to follow. So again, you're going to them. They may have one or two options for you like a bank would, but in my case, I have much more opportunities. So I sell 80 flavors of ice cream and they sell 3.
Hey, I like
That was a good one.
I
Yeah.
do. Bill has a page on our website, so we definitely recommend connecting with you. I hear from a little bit earlier, he happens to like LinkedIn connections.
I do.
So,
I do. I absolutely
so
do.
definitely go to our page. Should have his
Right.
Yep.
his LinkedIn page right on there, and any other ways to connect with you. And it was wonderful having you on the show. You gave a tremendous amount of information.
Well, thank you very
yes,
much. I
it was
appreciate it.
wonderful. It was
Thank you all.
absolutely great.
And John, can you put up that event image for the picnic? That would be awesome.
We're getting there. We're getting there. Just learned so much today. All right.
You can step back. Oh, you want me to talk right now? All right, I'm talking.
So the ICF is holding its 2022. Yeah. We don't have an image for it, but it's fine. We're talking about the picnic. I'm so sorry, everyone. All right, so it's National Co-working Day today. We have giant Jenga set up, ready to go. We have a taco truck sitting outside. Pretty
The first
soon.
30 people
First 30
get
people
free
get
tacos.
free tacos. And it goes from 11 to 1. And most importantly, come in person. Wish Tracy a happy birthday today. Come wish Tracy a happy birthday today. Come have some tacos with us. Come have some smoked butts with us.
Yeah.
Per John Taylor. Bags is also out there. And networking with all the cool people at Expansive Workspace.
Awesome.
Tracy?
I'm trying to figure myself out here.
Oh, that's okay. That's
And
okay.
also, we have the Connect Show Mastermind event every Friday at 10 a.m. Central. We have turned this mastermind event into an accountability group, which has been a lot of fun. Yeah.
We set goals every week. Mm-hmm. We feel guilty if we don't achieve
We feel
those
guilty
goals.
if we don't achieve the goals, and then we show up and we do the goals, and then not only do we set our goals, but we talk about the reasons why we want to do the goals, and because there's probably a good 8 to 10 people that are in this mastermind group, they all give us feedback and help us decide the proper way to go about accomplishing our goals. So not only are you...
They completely help us through
Yeah,
the goals. We
right.
help each other. And we're welcoming more people in there. This isn't a closed group.
Right.
We're welcoming more people in there. If you have goals that you want to achieve, you don't quite know how to get there.
Right.
You need someone to hold you accountable to get there.
Right, and
because
we'll
that's
we'll
important.
even say, is that realistic? Are you really going to be able to pull that off in the next week? So we try to keep everything.
John's being funny in the background.
So
Are you going to be able to pull it off?
yeah.
You're going to be able to pull it off.
And so we encourage everybody to come to the mastermind group. It's on Zoom. It's really convenient. You can do it in your car, in your house, wherever you are. It's at 10 a.m. Central. And it's every Friday.
Let's check you on your goals. We want to thank everyone for coming today. You can join us next week where we have Holly Hoffman and Angelica Coughlin as we continue our new month of starting your small business.
Which is perfect with the money guy here. When he said, get an accountant and an attorney, and I believe we're going to have some of those people on next month, so that's going to be great.
And Holly is great. She happened to help me through a tax question. So knowing your taxes, you talked about it earlier today, knowing what you can write off, what you can't write off, what you can charge tax for, what you shouldn't charge tax for.
Yep.
It's very important.
Her nickname is Sales Tax Lady. So if you've got a question about sales tax, she's the place to go to.
So next week's going to be great.
Business shower. So on October
18th.
I always forget the date, we are having our next Fusion event. We're pretty excited about that. And we already have a nice collection of what I call them.
It's a shower for a small business. So you're starting a small business.
Yep.
You don't know where to start. That flew. You don't know where to start. We're giving you the tools to start.
Tools, that's the word.
We're
a
giving you
collection
the
of tools to one lucky small business owner is going to win this business shower.
Right now, it's valued at over $12,000.
And it's climbing, and we've got 2 months to go. So you guys, you better go enter that small business shower.
John has got sunglasses on. He is throwing the money out. He's ready to go. He's probably mad that I'm clapping in his ears, but it's all right. But
So on the website, there's 2 forms, and they're very just bland, blanketed forms. But one is to enter to be the business shower winner, and one is to submit a gift to the business shower winner. So either one of those, if you're interested, if you're a new business owner or an existing business owner, you can still sign up for the business shower winner. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be new.
let's give some hints.
What's the hints?
Some of the things, we have some photography in there. We have some social media help in there, some website help, video help.
Video help. Expansive.
Expansive help. So you need a place
Yep.
to work out of. This building is amazing, and there's 6 months for free. And then there's also location downtown Madison,
Chicago.
47 locations. 47 locations of Expansive. We have people helping with credit card processing. I said photography, coaching, branding,
Google reviews, Google reputation.
Yep.
brand
Yep.
reputation management.
We have all, like, everything that a small business owner needs for their whole marketing presence. It looks like you're going to be totally covered. So please enter to win that, because we'll be announcing that winner on October 18th.
That's so exciting. I absolutely cannot wait. You know what else I can't wait for? Go hang out with these people at Expansive today.
Well,
And
it is
celebrate
getting-
your
it's
birthday.
getting
She
to be
gets some
time.
cake, guys, and ice cream
Oh, yeah.
and flowers.
I'm so excited. It looks so pretty, I don't even want to eat it. But I will.
Okay. Thanks, everyone, for joining us today.
Thanks, everybody, for coming. Hopefully, we'll see you outside.
Like, share, subscribe. Get us out there.